comment on any fatalities here on the ground, but again, they are out here searching, just hoping to find anybody who may still be out in this wreckage.
Mert's reporting, and of course he's reporting from Steelman Estates, which was a trailer park away from the scene you were just seeing, which is where the semis tipped over on I-40, and several other vehicles were also damaged. Some injuries, therefore, I think the Highway Patrol told us earlier, 1 serious, 3 not so serious, but everybody who's hurt, we're thinking of you tonight.
Absolutely. Let's go back to Mike Morgan, get an update on what has happened, what's happening right now with our weather. Mike.
You know, Kevin, you talk about what has happened. I just have to say that this is really jaw-droppingly amazing is not the right word, but violent, rapid, atmosphere out of balance. If you've been watching us, you know, and listening to Chase Thomas in there with that live report, he was out by Mercy Hospital when the supercell formed out by Piedmont and went right over his head. And then the chopper dovetailed in along with Mark Dillard, and the tornado went through South Edmond. It's jaw-dropping how fast, when these storms start to do their thing in this fashion, how fast the violentness of these things ramps up. You know, and you guys have seen it, just like we have done it back here, covering it for you. And I would think that most viewers would agree with us. It is remarkable in an awesomely bad, tragic sort of way when the weather gets out of balance, how fast this stuff happens. And you just never get tired of it as far as being awed by it. Let's go to Bob Moore, Chopper 4 Live here. John?
Hey, Mike, we're just off the airport. We got full tank of gas here. It looks like we're showing you pictures of the Shawnee Expo Center, which is just going to be, north of 177 here. And it appears that maybe this is like a hub, or this is where people are going to consolidate out of as far as emergency efforts here. I don't see any Red Cross vehicles, but I do see a lot of firemen and emergency crews that are working around the area. So this is a spot, the Shawnee Expo Center, where obviously we have a group of individuals, emergency responders, doing something here. We're heading back en route to show you the emergency efforts and the rescue efforts at the trailer park that was just south of the Fire Lake Casino. And I'm probably about 5 or 6 miles away. I can see the Shawnee Lakes, and all I can see just...
Okay, we'll get back with John here momentarily. Let's go to the storm tracker, and I broadened the view out here, and you see the system. You can see it physically leaving. You can see the thing physically leaving. Look how it has these bands that are kind of reaching back into Oklahoma, almost like it's clawing its way out of Oklahoma. And on the very end of these bands are these massive supercells that are just now trying to die and go away. But you can physically see the thing leaving Oklahoma after causing all this destruction down here in the central parts of the state. This storm is going up on the southern sides of Ponca City, and it is severe. And it does have a little rotation with it as well. So we're still not quite done yet. This is kind of a new development here, and it's trying to come right into the southeastern sides of Ponca City, east of Marland. And that storm is going up. It is severe, has a little rotation down there by the Big Bend, the Big Horseshoe Bend. The Horseshoe Bend there on the Arkansas River. You see it down there kind of toward the middle bottom part of your screen. They call that the Horseshoe Bend. And that's going to go into Osage County. Wouldn't be impossible for that to produce tornadic activity over in Osage County as it moves toward Ralston and Pawhuska. Let's go to the storm scanner. And these are the two basic main tracks. There are about a dozen tornadoes today, but of course we had at least 3 long-tracked violent tornadoes. Mark Dillard is still out in this after chasing this all day long and joins us now live. Mark?
Yes, Mike, we're in Oklahoma where this thing is finally starting to wind down. It's really come down in intensity, although it still had some baseball-sized hail in it just up the road from us. Here on 75 south of Tulsa, but yeah, quite a day, Mike. And unfortunately, if we've had any injuries or fatalities, we that's why we urge people to heed the warnings and do what you can to have a plan in place and be ready to go with it at a moment's notice. And we were talking about we were at the stations, and you said get on it and get to Yukon. That thing exploded in front of our eyes as we were leaving the station. And it went up rock hard, and it was literally turning as it was going up, as these supercells will do. And this thing did damage, and it really put down the first big tornado in Edmond and raced off toward Kearney and up toward Cushing and the Drumright area and dissipated. And then The next one down the line was Tornadic Warren. I never saw a tornado as we came back down towards Shawnee, as it was north of Chandler there. We never saw any touchdowns with it, but it was Tornado Warren. And then finally the storm that came up out of Blanchard and Norman and eventually into Shawnee doing so much damage with actually 2 circulations on it at one time and then on up toward Craig. And then finally here up in Old Mulgee where this thing is finally dying out. But what a day, Mike, and I hope that folks were able to heed the warning and do what they could to protect their property and lives today. And that's why we do it and try to make the most out of the coverage and try to be accurate as we can with this. But quite a day again, and if you were waiting for spring to get here, it got here with a big violence today. Mike, back to you.
Thank you, Mark Dillard. Mark's over by Mulgee, which is just south of Tulsa. I bet he's put about 500 miles on his car today, and I'll just have to say, Mark is a very, very dedicated storm tracker. He is a veteran of May 3rd. He made a huge contribution May 3rd. These guys, as we know, but I'm going to say it over and over again, they are dedicated, they are talented, they are performing a public service, and we are all proud of these guys. I'm very, very proud of Mark Dillard and these other guys that were out there today, and there's a long, long list of those. And of course, John and Travis up in the chopper in very, very dangerous conditions. You go someplace else in the world and you tell them that you chase these things, F5s in a chopper, they will think you're crazy. And John and today's Travis, they do it all the time, and they do it with skill, and they do it with confidence, and we're just trying to keep them all safe as well. Great job, guys. Let's go take a look at the watches and warnings on Weather Show. Kevin and Linda, the storms are continuing to try to push on to the east. There's that one storm southeast of Ponca City, but that will eventually go into Osage County, which will be out of our viewing area. It's just grazing the southeastern side of Ponca City, and it is severe. Right now, nothing else is fired here in central Oklahoma that's really done very much. The cold front is still to the northwest, but right now, that has not developed either, but we'll keep track of it. Back to you.
No, you will, Mike. Thank you.
And how much things have changed in terms of tornado coverage and tornado watching. We have several of our viewers who are out of state, and we're hearing from them because they're watching the whole coverage on their apps. And it came in handy for me last night when we lost power, and all I had to do was hit forewarn me, and I knew exactly where the storms were and what was going on. Otherwise, I'd have been lost. Exactly.
I was following it on my cell phone, Forewarn Me app today, because Mike had mentioned that this could be a very dangerous day, and so from about noon on, I kept watching that thing, and the world has changed because of social media, and in a good way, that way.
And of course, we have choppers now, and they are tremendous help. John Welsh has done a wonderful job today. He's been up in that chopper for more than 5 hours following these storms. And what are we looking at here? Is that the I-40 where they're having to come off the road? What a long mess.
I'm telling you, Kevin and Linda, that mess goes all the way back, and it's really not doing it justice here. It goes back about 5 to 7 miles on the east side of Shawnee. So they're having to bring them up here. This is right there at I-40 and 177 where they're doing the, where that we saw the semis and Meg was at earlier. If Travis will kind of pan out down and to the right, we're showing you some other emergency efforts underway right here just south of I-40, and it's just going to be just south of the 177 3W exit right here as you go towards the south side of Shawnee. We took off from Shawnee, and obviously we just showed you earlier ago. It looks like they're staging something at the Civic Center there, or the Expo Center at Shawnee. And as soon as we took off, we got a couple hundred feet above the ground, and it's just blue and red lights blinking all over this part of the city. Everybody that has emergency lights, every available emergency responder, I'm sure, is working. And there's probably easily 100 lights that are flashing now. This is some other efforts that are going underway. As soon as we leave here, we're going to head back towards the trailer park that we've been at earlier today, which is probably the hardest hit area. The guy that owns our helicopter, Mark White, he has a place there on Shawnee at Twin Lakes, and he flew over it to make sure it wasn't damaged. It came close to it, but no damage on the south side of Twin Lakes. Luckily enough, it just it missed his place. But we've talked to several people on the ground, and a lot of people are thankful for the warnings that we've been given, or that we've given them, and as well as the coverage that we've got. It's said it's been keeping people safe. We're en route right now to go back to the trailer park area where we do know that rescue efforts are still underway. And again, I'm seeing probably 10 or 15 different vehicles that have flashing lights on. So obviously this is going to get more difficult as the night falls, like we talked about earlier. Power's out. It's kind of odd looking down here, and I'm not seeing any blinking lights or any sparkling lights like we usually see just from, the residents, your floodlights and stuff on at your house. So it's completely pitch black over towards the Shawnee Lakes, looking towards just south of Norman, north of Purcell area. There's a lot of emergency crews going down Highway 102 from I-40, 102 from I-40 back towards this trailer park here that's been completely damaged. And as you can see, as Travis has in our picture, that's the lights. That's where the area is. So it's still going underway, and hopefully we can find all these people prior to it getting too late. We can just render as much aid as we can. Linda?
And John, just exactly like you said, you can tell where the twister went because it's so pitch black. If you look at when we're flying with the chopper and when we go up with you at night, it's a beautiful sight because the lights sparkle like diamonds below you. But when you look there, you see nothing but the red and blue lights of emergency vehicles. All other lights are extinguished.
Yeah, everything. I mean, it's pitch black, which is odd. We look back towards the city, and I'm seeing, a lot of lights, but not nearly as many. So just because the tornado didn't affect you, definitely the residual effects of the power lines being down and everything else is definitely going to affect you. It's getting kind of dark, so we're going to kind of iris up a little bit, which is going to throw some graininess to our picture here. I'm about as low as I can getting as close as we can. What I don't want to do is put a lot of noise down there and hamper their abilities to do their rescue efforts, just so we can show people pictures of it back home. We can re-rack video to show the damage. But as you can see right here, they're continuing their search efforts. This is definitely the hardest hit area. I see as Travis has right there on the screen, it looks like a ODOT vehicle, maybe bringing some gravel or something in here, because this roadway, or well, they're actually using it to block traffic, I guess. But the driveway in this trailer park is it's a dirt road, and it is completely washed out. So emergency vehicles can't even get all the way to the north just because the roadway is not drivable with a massive amount of rain that this storm dropped on them, not to mention the tornado and the wind that they had to endure. So rescue efforts, again, are still going underway. Right now, we're just about 2 miles south of I-40. We're a half a mile east of Highway 102 and this trailer park that was the hardest hit area in Shawnee. And we'll stay here for a little bit longer, Linda, and hopefully they can find everybody and get this thing wrapped up.
Well, again, good job to you, John Welsh. You've been up in the air with Travis Sutton, our photojournalist, and your pictures have just been astounding in terms not only of the twisters as we saw them develop, but the damage afterwards. We're very grateful to you. As
we continue to look at that shot, what I'm about to tell you is going to sound trivial, but there are some people who are interested in this. We know that our severe weather coverage is covering up the season finale of The Apprentice. What we're going to do is we're going to get in contact with NBC, and we're going to ask them when that can be re-aired. We'll send it back down to us. We'll have it on video, and we'll re-air it. We'll find out about that tomorrow. We'll let you know when the season finale of The Apprentice will air. We'll let you know that tomorrow night during our newscast.
And when these twisters move through our rural areas, sometimes people with livestock are at a loss as what to do because their fences are gone.
Right.
Very nice offer from Day Ranch, One Day Ranch. They are willing to take care of any of your livestock as long as it takes you to get up and running again. They've told us that their number is 405-226. You're going to see a banner here in just a second. 1946. So if you have livestock and you're at a loss as to what to do with your horses or some cattle, give them a call and they'll see if they can help you out. Again, the number is 405-226-1946. And if you don't get